1,000 miles. And the Bears are not scheduled to play consecutive games either at home or on the road this season for the first time in franchise history. They alternate home and road every week, all season long. That is tough. And now you might remember that the Chicago Bears signed veteran quarterback Pro Bowler Andy Dalton. And obviously they named him starter just before they traded up and picked Justin Fields. Louis Riddick back here with us. Chris, I will start with you. Should Justin Fields start week one?
Yeah, Molly. He should be the week one starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. And I know that everybody is saying the Rams are a really tough opponent. It was the number one defense from a year ago. But Matt Nagy's responsibility is to try to put this team in position where they can have success. And guess what? Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, their general manager, they don't have the luxury of time. So I get that you don't want to rush the development of a young quarterback, but it's going to be up to him to get him up to speed and to make sure that he builds an offense around what Justin Fields does well early in his career. If you look at where this Bears organization is at right now, they need a shot in the arm, and Justin Fields is the guy to give it to him. It's not Andy Dalton. It ain't Nick Foles. It's going to have to be this dude. Last year, the Bears had the worst quarterback play in their division. And had Andy Dalton been their quarterback last year, instead of Foles or Trubisky, guess what? They still would have had the worst quarterback play in the division. I get that you look at this defense and you saw a little bit of slippage, but I think their defensive regression had a lot more to do with the lack of confidence on the offensive side of the ball than that group not being any good. So to me, you got to infuse some confidence into this club, and that means Justin Fields being your week one starter.
Well, I realize you've played 11 years in the NFL, Chris, and won a Super Bowl with my New York Football Giants, my beloved Big Blue. But I did once win the Super Bowl simulating the season in Madden franchise mode, so I think I have some credibility here on this issue. Chris Canty, I'm very disappointed in you right now. You won a Super Bowl with who? Who was your quarterback?
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning, who was the number one overall draft pick. The Giants traded Rivers, the fourth pick, and a bunch of stuff for him. Did he start his rookie year? I know times have changed, but don't you think he benefited from having Kurt Warner start those, 8-10 games before he got the ball? Right? Don't you think that better? And do you know why that is so important? You know it better than I do. The last thing you want is to start a rookie quarterback, and then he's not really ready to hold it down in a permanent way, particularly behind the line who can't protect the passer. They were awful last year. That's why Nick Foles had a pocket to step into. He could throw it down the field, no pocket. Trubisky could move around so he could run for his life. But Justin Fields can do both, right? That's why he is an excellent idea for the run, even maybe later on in the season. Should he start week one? If he proves it in camp, yeah, then if he wins the job in camp, fine. But he's got to win the job. He's got to win the job because Justin Fields and the Bears' mission is very simple. He's got to take the ball and not give it up for the next 10 to 15 years and win a Super Bowl. And by the way, they got a hellified defense. So no, you don't just start Justin Fields week one. He's got to earn it. If he does, fine, but he's got to be ready.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I think this is a decision that has to come organically. It has to come naturally. It can't be forced. There cannot be agendas. There cannot be a situation where either Matt Nagy or Ryan Pace are trying to just save their jobs and trying to throw a young man out there that isn't really ready to play and isn't ready to play behind, as Max alluded to, an offensive line that last year I saw up close and personal. You know, I wouldn't want to start a young quarterback behind that version of the offensive line. So we need to see whether or not this current version of the offensive line is markedly improved over what they put out there last year, because that's not going to serve anyone's best interest. It's not going to serve Matt Nagy's best interest, Ryan Pace's best interest. And if for damn sure it wouldn't serve Justin Fields' best interest if he went out there and, one, wasn't ready necessarily as far as having a great grasp of the current version of the Bears offense, and two, couldn't protect himself behind an offensive line that last year, quite honestly, let them down both in the run game and in pass protection. So I think this is something that Matt is aware of. I think it's something that he has already spoken to as far as what it will take in order for him to feel comfortable putting Justin out there. He's aware of the fact that he's under the gun. He's aware of what the expectations are for 2021 relative to his own job status. But I think he wants to do the right thing, both for the short term, meaning they want to be competitive and make the playoffs again in 2021, and in the long term, which is have a quarterback that they can get through 2-3 contracts, play 10, 15 years, and ultimately bring Super Bowl championships back to the city of Chicago. So I think this is something that's going to take place organically that may not be what people want to hear, but I think that's what they're committed to doing, and that is the right thing for them to do.
I hear both of you guys' concerns, and I'm agreeing that they are legitimate, but at the same time, I also acknowledge that this is the National Football League. If you're waiting for things to be ideal before you put in a young quarterback, then you're going to be waiting for an awfully long time. And when you look at Justin Fields and the skill set that he has and just the overall talent, to me, he clearly presents an opportunity to upgrade the quarterback position. And a part of why you pay the guy with the headset on is to help you mitigate some of the deficiencies on your team. Also, the reason why you move up from 20 to 11 to draft a player like Justin Fields is because you know that quarterback has the talent to help your team overcome some of the shortcomings. So the offensive line is a sore spot for the Chicago Bears, but having a quarterback that can extend the down by using his legs, that can get outside of the pocket, that can give you second reaction plays, opportunities for some of those explosives, I think that's the direction that this Bears team has to be going.
But Justin Fields could turn out to be a great quarterback. Like, you can't – there's some guys you could rule out, but he's not going to be a great quarterback. Justin Fields could turn out to be great. And the last thing you want to do – because, by the way, Andy Dalton, quiet as kept, a little better than giving credit for right now. He was bad in the beginning with the Cowboys. He got better and better. And the last thing you're going to want is the Bears are really struggling. And all of a sudden it's like maybe we need to not start him for a couple weeks. And now you got Andy Dalton. What if Andy Dalton plays well and the Bears wind up in a playoff hunt? Or even just it really is not good for the development of the confidence of the player, or maybe not his development period. You don't want any of those problems. You don't want that mess with a quarterback who, if you do it right, has a chance to be great.
Yeah, Chris, I know what you're saying, that you know, if you keep waiting for an ideal situation and wait for things to be perfect, you may be waiting forever. It may never come. But I think at the same time, look, we also go on these shows and we know this. We know that you can ruin quarterbacks by throwing them to the wolves and putting them in situations that really they are not set up to succeed. And that's not to say that the Bears can't be set up to succeed and that the offensive line can't come along and that the running game can't be developed to the point where it complements a young quarterback, because I believe it can. And I believe they have tried to address some of those situations. I'm just saying this. I don't think you can go into this already having predetermined when it is that he goes out there on the football field. I don't think it would be wise to just say, hey, look, you're the starter. Come hell or high water, regardless of how this offensive line looks or how this offense is gelling overall, you're the starter. I think you need to let it play out. Make sure he earns it. Make sure Juan Castillo, the offensive line coach, continues to bring along this offensive line. And then if it's, you know, from a collective decision-making process and from a collective decision-making standpoint, you feel it's time to put him out there, then put him out there. And you know what? If that's week 1, 2, or 3, then put him out there. I'm just saying,
but he got to win the job. Got to win the job.
Now, I'm completely with you guys. The one thing that I will say is, with the team like Matt Nagy has with the Chicago Bears, if they don't feel like that locker room, if they don't feel like you're putting them in a position where they can have success, then it's going to be trouble in terms of their coach being able to have confidence of the guys in the locker room as the season progresses. I'm just saying.
Sweet Lou, thank you kindly. I like the look, even if Max has jokes. All right, the game everyone has.
Max doesn't have gear like this.
I want to split the aces.
All right, everyone's got this one circled on.